Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 68 of Today with Jared James. As always, guys, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe, give us a great comment and a review on whatever platform you are listening on, and share this with someone else, guys. It's always helpful. Last time on here, and by the way, I'm joined once again by popular demand, Mr. Tom Dedimo.
I give the people what they want.
I give the people what they want.
I'm here now. Yes.
I give the people what they want. Why am I surprised? Why am I not surprised?
I wouldn't be.
Okay. So, last time we were talking about what was going on the last month. I'm trying to make these a little bit more conversational. And I just got back from a boys trip to Mexico. And by boys, I don't mean like my sons. I mean like my boys, right? It wasn't a tough time. I got to spend the first bit. I got to fly over to California, literally got my little brother's wedding in 2 hours before another lockdown occurred. So thank God we didn't fly all that way and then nothing happened. And he got to do his wedding, which is obviously a great thing. It was a beautiful thing, beautiful woman, great woman. It was awesome to be a part of that, to be in his wedding party. And they tried to halfway through the actual reception tell me that I was doing a speech that I was not prepared for. I think everybody thinks that wherever I go, I'm just looking to do a speech.
You're not?
No.
Oh.
No, it's kind of the funny thing, because the truth of the matter is I'd like to be in the back and have no attention, have no anything. I don't want to give a speech, right? Like, why would I want to give no? And if I am going to give a speech, I need to be prepared. Like, it's not like you're up there talking about the 4 phases of, financial discipline, or like what,
you could.
Yeah, but I'm going to go up there and now talk about, I'm going to reminisce on my brother and, his marriage and with no preparation. Who knows what's going to come out of my mouth? Like, there are a lot of ways that could go. I think that we can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And so now, I guess I was the one, joke's on me. He was completely messing with me. Thank God, because I go from having a great time at this wedding to all of a sudden I'm like in panic mode. Like, oh my God, really? And please, here is, they're going to hand me this mic and like, what do I say? Do you have a planned, if you had to all of a sudden
just give a speech?
Yeah. Like if you're like at a wedding or something, do you have like a planned joke or something?
So yeah, if I'm put on the spot, every single word I've ever learned it just leaves. It just goes away.
Anything's gone. It's just blank. Everything, it's a blank canvas.
Yeah, when you're put on the spot like that, I don't know. I don't do very well in that situation.
Yeah.
I gave a speech at my brother's wedding, and if anybody saw that, nobody listening to this saw that. Maybe somebody, I don't know, who knows. But my hand was doing this number, just shaking the
shake-a-rama, which is an instant sign to everybody else this isn't going well.
It went great, but to me, I was just doing this the entire time. Yeah, I thought everybody had a great time. It got a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was sympathy or pity or what it was.
Yeah, those would be the most difficult. I was at a bachelor party once, and they just randomly saw me there, and they were like, "Have him do a speech." Of course. I'm pretty sure they were many drinks in. But it's the last thing. It's the last thing you ever want to do.
I feel like that'd be an easy crowd to give a speech for, though. I feel like you could say anything at that point. They'd be like, "Oh, that was amazing.
Amazing.
Great."
Or they tell you what they really think because they have no filter. They're like, "That's it?
No, give me a speech.
People pay you to do this nonsense?" It could go either way.
I suppose.
Yeah. Either way, I don't want to find out. That's what really matters. I don't want to find out. Okay. So anyway, so the point was, guys, and that's not the point of this podcast here. I'm actually going to talk to you guys a little bit about relaxation of all things. But when I was done with that, I made the decision, a good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, sold his company recently. I won't tell anybody what company it is or for what amount, because it's a company that a lot of you probably are aware of, and it was for a very good amount. It was for a good enough amount that, he I think I wrote on Instagram, when one of your best friends calls you up and says, "Hey, I'm going to Tulum for a month, and I want my boys to join me for a week." There's really only one answer to that, know? New phone, who dis? No. The only answer is abso-freaking-lutely, right? So yeah, man, I went and spent a week in Tulum with some really good friends of mine, and just amazing. Like if I'm being honest, it was kind of life-changing. It was an eye-opener for sure. You know, it's, I don't think that I'm surprising anybody when I say that I work a lot. I basically, you know, I've got an engine that just kind of, I'm always on. You know, there's always stuff going on. There's always, you know, sometimes I'm going back and forth with you after hours, and then there's a bunch of other people who I'm going back and forth with all the time. It's just kind of how I'm built. You know, it's not even like a, you know, don't cry for me, Argentina type of thing. Like, there's nothing to be sad about. It's just, it is who I am, you know? By the way, this trip, I want for anybody, you guys listening can't see this, but for anybody watching it on YouTube, it's why my hair is butchered right now and it's so short, because I came back and found out that my normal lady who's been cutting my hair for 25 years is off through the beginning of January. So I went to like one of those sports clips places, and I said to her, like, what to do on the sides. I said, just a tad bit off the top, just make it look cut, but I really don't want a lot off the top. And then I saw her first scissor cut, and I went, oh God, this just, because now you got to complete it. You got to go all the way once you do that first clip, you know? And it's bad.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. If you hadn't said anything, I don't think I would have noticed.
I think that's just you not noticing the hair, but it's short right now, man.
I guess. I don't know. It's always short, though.
It's not like
not
this.
That, I guess.
It's not like this. Guess, I look like I'm straight out of the military right now. You know, this is very G.I. Jane. Okay. I'm not even going G.I. Joe. This is very G.I. Jane right here. Okay. So anyway, point being, went on that trip and, you know, was quiet. You know, like one of the things I learned from it, thank you to all of you, or how many of you pay attention online, because I started getting messages from people almost angry. Like, you know, why aren't you posting anything? Where's your stories? Where's, you know, whatever. And I'm like, what, you know? But so thank you. But yeah, I took a little bit of a break, and not a little bit of a break, a lot of a break. And, you know, I'm not really wired like that. I know a lot of you that listen, a lot of you listening right now, the idea of that is kind of foreign, right? And this is why it was kind of life-changing for me, because it was just, I'm out here doing this. And it's not even the idea of a break was life-changing, because I always do that. I've got a family, we vacation, we do that. Man, I realized just how much, like, sometimes guys need guys and girls need girls. Like, you know, like you see a lot of times, you're going to be getting married soon.
I am.
So what I see many times amongst the couples that will hang around is, unfortunately, this thing that happens within relationships where, you know, I think people are so miserable, they don't want the other person to be happy. And they're just like, you're not going anywhere. You're not, it's like they try to lock them up. Believe me, man, it exists. And it exists at a high level.
That's a shame.
I see it all the time. And I'm just like, this is so sad. Like, do you realize when he's miserable, you're miserable? Do you realize when she's miserable, you're miserable? And, you know, to the point where I was getting messages from friends like, how'd you pull that off? You're down there with the guys for a week? And I'm thinking to myself, I work my butt off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I provide a pretty good life. If I want to go hang out with my guys for the week in Mexico,
guess who's going to Mexico?
Guess who's going to Mexico? You know what I mean? But the mentality with people with that is not the same. And so to be able to go there and not just relax, and it's beautiful, guys. It is out of this world beautiful in Tulum. We were on a house on the ocean, right on the ocean. It was the owner's house. It was for some, you know, small boutique resort or boutique hotel, but he has his own house right on the ocean at the end of it all, on this private beach. And so we rented his house. And I mean, it doesn't get better. It's, you know, you walked out and it was, oh, this is my home for the week. Gorgeous, right? But what was life-changing for me was, you know, realizing how much, number one, how much, you know, men need to be surrounded by men sometimes. Like, we're different, you know, we talk about different things, we act differently, and vice versa too, with women. But on top of that, the group that I went with were so intelligent. You know, these aren't dummies. You know, these are guys that just sold their company for a ridiculous amount of money. But for any of you that know me personally, you know that my group of friends are generally, like, they're really good people. Like, they're you know, I remember someone said to me a couple years ago, they're like, I just want to meet anyone you hang around, because everybody I've met has been awesome. Like, and so those are kind of what my group of friends are like. And so we're able to get together, act like a bunch of 12-year-olds, you know, just like be free with each other, not have to think about who's there, who's watching, who's, you know, whatever. We can just be stupid, just be, you know, whatever. But then, man, the conversations that come about, you know, I learned more during the last week from the conversations I had sitting on the beach, you know, having a, you know, whatever non-water thing we were having at that moment, you know, than I have from conversations I've had with people for the last years, you know, where we're just sharing, just detailed, you know, not the kind of stuff you talk about from the stage from a business perspective, but definitely things that will be helping us going forward. And they're just brilliant minds. You know, we all respect each other. You know, they take some stuff from me, I take some stuff from them. And I just realized how necessary it was. Like, that's happening on the reg now. Like, there will be not just, there's this thing about getting away and just enjoying the fruits of your labor, you know, where I was thinking about it and I'm like, I'm going to take my family more places. I'm going to do more things with my wife, like just her and I go to places. I'm going to have a minimum of 1 to 2 boys trips per year where we just go and just like spend a little bit of time, just us, and do. I feel like I'm operating at such a different level now, you know, than I was before then. My mentality on things, my just everything has just elevated, you know. And we all hear the stories, man. And again, for all of you listening right now, I can't recommend this enough. Like, it's life-changing. Get out with your girls, go get away with your guys, you know, go like, you know, you always hear those lines, create a life that you don't have to vacation from. You know, I don't know if you've heard that before.
I've heard that
but
before.
You know, you want to create a life that you don't have to vacation from. And we tend to be people who kind of take things black and white. We take them left and right. We take them, you know, whatever. And I've always taken that. And it's like, you almost think about it. And there's this, especially in the hustle culture, there's like this anti-vacation thing that goes on, you know, like as if you're giving up the idea of who you are. You're a hustler, you're a, you know, whatever it is. And yet, you know, when you really look at it, you know, look, I'll be very honest. I mean, you know me, I don't have a life I have to vacation from. You see my life, you see my real life. I love my family. I love, like, I'm not a miserable guy. I'm not a whatever. Like, I have a vacation. I don't have to, I have a life I don't have to vacation from. That doesn't mean that it can't be enhanced. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like that, like a little drug that they give to people when they're, you know, depressed or out or whatever. They're like, oh, I wish you weren't this way, but we're going to get you back to normal. But if you ever took that thing when you were normal, it would take you just a whole different level, like of just bliss and, you know, whatever. I'm almost look at vacation like that now, where it's like, I don't need to be down in the dumps to need to get back to normal to vacation. Right. I want to operate at my highest capacity. I want to, and when you look at, you know, again, hustle culture, man, hustle culture has taken over our entrepreneurs. You know, it's like, I'm working 22 hours out of 24, winning. It's like, no, you're not. You're an idiot. Like, that's, you know, that's not smart at all. We started this thing a few years ago where I started saying, hey, hustle redefined, right? And I'm realizing now there's a different level. So I talked about hustle redefined, and I talked about how if you're going to hustle in one area, you've got to hustle in another, right? It's not enough to hustle in business. You know, if my kids see me hustle in business, they need to see me take the red eye to get home for their soccer game. You know, like, I got to hustle with my fitness. I've got to hustle with the way I eat. I've got to hustle in the, like, it's all of those things. And I'm now starting to realize that, like, part of that hustle, man, and part of what makes it so good, and part of what, you know, makes you operate at such a level is that break. It's the car in the garage, you know? And don't get me wrong, like, when I'm there, believe me, in the morning, I'm knocking stuff out.
Right.
You know, and there's still some stuff, like, you guys weren't waiting forever when, like, you guys message me, you need something, you're still, because I'm just built like that. That doesn't pull from me. Like, that doesn't, like, wane on me. That doesn't, to me, that's not like work. It's almost like a fuel. It's almost like a, you know, but all the other things outside of that, man, we're just chilling, looking at the ocean. You know, what do you guys want? Where do you want to go to dinner? Where do you want to, you know, conversations we had. I'm kind of expanding this whole, you know, hustle redefined. It's like, for what, you know, you need to be hustling towards something, you know, at the end of the day, you know. And what are you going to wait till you're 80 and then realize, oh, I should have seen the Alps. I should have seen the, you know, whatever. For me, a part of my heart was left in Tulum, where like it was such a memorable thing that it only expanded on it. Only made me want to hustle more. It relaxed me in such a way that I feel like I'm so much more. I'm like ready to go. You know what I mean? And it made me realize how necessary it is more on a regular basis, and to stop caring about, well, you know, that's not what people like you do, and that's not, you know, you got to just show them that you work. Yeah, I'll work. I'll build companies. I will be that entrepreneur because that's who I am. I don't know any other way. But maybe we've been missing an ingredient, you know? Maybe that's the part that's been missing with our mentors so far in this area is, you know, I've been talking a lot lately. Maybe this is why I'm thinking like this, because, you know, I've been talking a lot lately about one of the ways that people like me and other people get a lot of stuff done is it's not that we learn to juggle more balls, you know, like, ooh, more balls in the air, more, you know, that's not what it is. It's that we build capacity. You know, I've been saying that over and over. It's about building capacity. And I've been given the example of like, you know, look, how far an arrow goes when you shoot it has little to do with what happens when it hits the air. It's about what you do with it before it ever leaves the bow. That's capacity, right? And we're the same way. You know, the reason why you see me do hashtag did you sweat today, you know, taking care of myself. The reason why you see me eating right, you know, exercising, eating right. The reason why you see me trying to rest the amount that I need. The reason why you see me working on my personal relationships and, you know, filling my spiritual cup and doing all this stuff is not, you know, because I'm trying to learn how to juggle more. It's because I'm building capacity. I can do more with this body. I can do more with this mind. I can do more with the more capacity I create. With the more capacity I create on the arrow before it ever leaves the bow. And man, I'm just telling you, like, going away with just the guys. Similarly, too, by the way, I've done couples trip. I've done just my wife. It's been awesome. I've done the family trips. Going to do a family trip coming up. But man, there was something about these like-minded guys that was a synergy and some kind of a creation of energy and thought process. And I can't explain it. Unlike anything I've experienced. It was like a drug to where I came back like, got it, you know, like this needs to happen more, you know, and in a culture that kind of is anti that. Like I said, when I go and do it, all sorts of people are like, how'd you get away with that? I'm like, what do you mean get away with? What does that mean? I'm a grown man. I make a good amount of money. Yeah. I work my tail off. What else are we working towards? Like, what else are we working towards? Right. If it's not to do the things that make you happy. Like really, like when for those of you that are listening right now, like what do you work for? If not to do the things that ultimately make you happy. Do you have to wait until you're 85 and then have regrets? Do you have to, you know, look, recognize who you are, recognize how you're built. I understand exactly how I'm built. I understand that I couldn't do that forever. You know, towards the end, I was getting restless. I'm like, I want to get back now. I want to get back, right? I recognize all of those things, but what else do you work so hard for? If not to do the things that make you happy? Who have you surrounded yourself with in your life? If they do not allow you to do the things that make you happy? What kind of mentality have you created in your life if you yourself fight against doing the things that make you happy because they don't seem normal? They don't seem like, well, that's not what everybody else does. Well, look around you guys. How happy is everyone else? You know, like take a poll around you, like your inner circle, how happy are the people around you? You know, like at some point you got to start questioning the formula for everything. You know, I know that it makes me happy to build businesses. I know that it makes me happy to build places where people are employed and they get to work at a place where they like the people they work with. And I know that all that makes me happy. I absolutely know that. I also know that what I just did the last week was a euphoria for me. Like amazing, absolutely amazing. Right. And I know I plan to do more of it, you know, and I know that when my boys get older, I plan to do the same thing with them. And hopefully create, and you know what the funny thing is? I've always seen like a lot of my guy friends. It's funny how we can do things that are like checked off the boxes. That's okay. So a lot of my guy friends go on golf trips, right? And I can remember in years past, my wife's like, how come you don't go on golf trips? I'm like, I don't want to go play 36 holes a day. I'm done after 11.
That's a lot of golf.
That's a lot of golf, you know? That doesn't necessarily do it for me.
Especially considering the whole point of golf is to play it as the least amount of golf as possible. It's a lot of golf.
The least amount of shots.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, man. It's yeah. And so maybe my thing isn't golf trips with my dudes. Maybe my thing is these little getaways to, you know, islands where I get a little less pale. You know, I leave there looking a little bit like a local. I did a good job too, but I did not get burnt. I sunblocked. I was every 2 hours. I was so on it, and one of the guys was not. I mean, he was one of those guys that he looked good over here, and he had a little landing strip right here that he missed. Whew. I did not want to be that guy.
Yeah, as I say a lot, you hate to see it.
Yeah,
you hate to see it.
Dude, you and I have the potential to be that guy.
I usually am that guy, just because I forget.
Yeah. So I made it a point not to forget. I'm like, every 2 hours, this is what this is going to be. This is, you know, whatever. And it was straight out of the box of amazing. And I'm going to do it more often. And for, you know, everybody at the sound of my voice right now, like listen to me, guys. Resting is not weakness. You know, there's been like this, people don't say that, but they kind of say it. You know what I mean? It's, you know, how bad you work. Oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh my God, I have no extra time. Oh my God, oh, I'm just so crazy. I'm so tough to get a hold of. Look, guys, I get it. I run multiple things. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Believe me, I get it. I 100% get it. But some of that's not doing us any good. Like if you're not able to step away and just kind of go recharge, and you got to start asking yourself what you're doing wrong or why you're doing it. You know, life is here to be enjoyed. Life is not here just to hit the finish line. And that's, you know, I know that. We all know that I know that. We all know that you know that. But man, I really had that epiphany this past week where it's just like, life isn't here for the finish line. You know what I mean? Like we're not here just to get to the end. That's not the goal. You know, there's a lot of different things you want to get done while you're here, you know, obviously from a family perspective and from a gifts perspective and from all those kind of things. But if one of those things is not enjoying this place while you're here, you know, and enjoying having that group that you can kind of connect with while you're here, you know, and this is from a guy, by the way, I lived in 6 different states growing up. Like I'm tough to connect with. Like that's just the truth. Like I always joke around. I say that I'm a bad friend, you know, because unless my kids hang out with your kids, I'm a bad friend. Like I don't make it a point to reach out to people. Somebody called me this past week when I was walking in California, and they just started talking and whatever. And he's a friend of mine. And so finally I'm like, so what's up, man? And he's like, nothing. I just want to see how you doing. Haven't talked to you. My mind couldn't even compute that. I'm just like, what do you mean? Yeah. Like, that's what we're doing? Like, there's something sweet about that like he felt that way. And I'm like, all right, I gotta do better at that. I have to, you know, whatever. But that's probably why the whole, you know, finding your crew, doing like what I just did is just euphoria. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Do you have a crew?
Oh, kind of. Yeah. So I went to college for a year. That was a good time. So my roommates that I had 5 other roommates that year. That is what I kind of consider my crew. But when we get together, it's not usually a collection of powerful minds, you know, doing things. Usually what it is Tom.
It doesn't have to be, by the way. I'm just saying for me, that was stimulating.
I just wanted to compare this because I think it's hilarious. Yeah. Usually what happens.
You guys tell who has the best fart joke or something?
It goes a little bit further. So usually what we do is Tom goes ahead and gets a bacon wrapped 7-Eleven hot dog. And then we just, we you know, live in that situation for the rest of the night.
Oh my God.
That's usually what happens. So it's kind of like one of those.
You're not solving world hunger or doing something like that.
No, I'm solving my hunger.
You're solving your hunger. All right. Either way, point made.
Yes.
Yeah. My best friends, man, are honestly, they're all over the place. Like most of my best friends are not local. My best friends are all over, which is why we have to meet up in a place and go do that. you know, because it's like part friendship, whatever. And then, like I said, it's part mastermind too. These are like master business people, you know, where it's just like, here we go. Like what's, you know, and we just talk about stuff that, who am I going to talk about that with, you know, locally?
Yeah.
You know, how's the deli going? You know, like I'm going to have that conversation. Like, I don't know. So it's amazing. So look, at the end of the day, this won't be a particularly long podcast, but the point that I'm just trying to make to everybody, if you're listening to this, is just remember, you know, why you work so hard. I know that so many of you, you know, work your tails off. I know so many of you feel like there's never a break. I know so many of you feel, you know, held down by things that are supposed to lift you up. You know, you feel held down by your kids. You feel held down by your spouse. You feel held down by your responsibilities. You feel held down by your career. You feel held down by all of these things that, guys, they are what is supposed to be elevating you, right? Your career isn't there to hold you down. It's there to open you up to be able to do the things that you ultimately want to do, right? Your spouse, your kids, these things, like, they should want what's best for you. You know, I tell my wife all the time, and I told her when I came back, I'm like, go plan a girls trip, go for it. I don't care. Like, if that's going to make you happy, go for it. Like, I'm seriously 100% go for it. That's awesome. You want to do a couple a year with your friends? Go for it. I don't have any issue with that. I think everybody's stronger when that happens. And so let's remember, guys, the things that we're looking at that are holding us back, or the responsibilities, all these kinds of things, you just need to remember why you work so hard. You know, what makes you happy? The thing that you're working so hard towards, is it so that you can do the things that make you happy? Or are you coming up with excuses of why you can't do all these things? And in the end, you just feel stuck. You know, you just feel beaten down. You just feel tired. You feel anxious. You feel, you know, I can't speak to any one of yours individual situation, you know, for this particular podcast, but I can tell you that I've seen the mountaintop, you know, and it's in Tulum. And, you know, I had almost an outer body experience of, you know, something I would never do, because again, I'm not a very good friend, but felt like I had to do because my friend sold his company. So I'm like, I'm not going to turn him down for this. I'm not going to whatever. And it was life-changing for me. And so for many of you, I hope you'll have the same experience and be able to start to plan and look forward and say, what makes me happy? And have those conversations with the people around you. And hopefully they're not so insecure that they don't want to allow you to do what makes them happy, because they don't see other people doing that, or they didn't grow up where that's okay, or they didn't, you know, whatever. Most of you listening, you're grown people. And this is one of those things where, you know, you got to take charge over your life. You got to have conversations with people around you, your inner circle, and say, hey, what makes me happy? And just like we plan when we prospect, and just like we plan, you know, when we exercise, and just like we plan when we do these things, you know, if it's trips, if it's whatever it is, life is short. You know, let's make sure that we are doing the things that make us happy. And even more importantly, like for me, it just energizes me, man. I'm energized. So I hope that helps all of you. And as I always say, if you like this, leave us a comment. But I think that's going to help a lot of you out there. If you have thoughts about it, message me, send me a DM, direct message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'm at connectwithjared.com, connectwithjared.com. You'll see Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Tom, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a quick question for you before we head out here. So, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but I was just curious, so aside from like getting away and just kind of like, you know, taking a step back, what did you actually do during that time? Because I know if it, like, my ideal situation is, because I mean, I'm a fidgeter, I'm fidgeting around with this thing.
Yeah.
My ideal situation is like, all right, I'm on the couch and I'm playing my guitar. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and this is just in my head, you were probably like on the island with like your laptop.
Like on the beach with it?
Yeah.
That's just because you know me, but no, I wasn't sitting down at the beach with my laptop.
Okay.
No, I knocked that stuff out early, like, and I enjoyed that. So we'd get up. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of, I don't know if you want to call them butlers, or it was nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And they got used to my breakfast order, and they would bring me a cappuccino at the same time every morning. They'd bring me my breakfast order, and I'd be sitting there with my laptop open on the deck over the water. Yep. I'd be listening to the waves, and I would get some work done. And I enjoy that. Like that's not for me. Like, oh, I'm working while I'm here. I enjoy that. I like knocking stuff out. I liked, whatever. So no, man, I was not during the day sitting out there with my laptop. Like, no. Many times the Wi-Fi went out. Didn't even have Wi-Fi. Probably one of the best things that could have happened to me. There's no Wi-Fi. It's gone.
Yeah.
In fact, at one point I had to do a training for a company, okay, in the middle of the week that I signed up to do while I was going to be away. And I had to go down to a sister property, a few beaches over and go knock it out over there, because many times we didn't even have the Wi-Fi. It wasn't working. It wasn't, whatever. So dude, a lot of times I was just being forced to be present, like to enjoy, like you do all this work, you create, wealth or freedom or relationships. The people that I'm with are people that you can't just get through to. Like, they're not trying to be whatever about this, but like, you're not going to just get through to them. They're the people who are constantly getting spammed by people because people are trying to get their attention, right? Like you can't call our office and talk to me. Like it's not going to happen. Like it's not possible. There's too many people. You know what I mean? It's not possible. So these people I'm with are very much like that. Like you can't, and yet I've put in this work to really try and, I haven't put in the work, but like we've become friends. We've become, we've had these relationships. And so what am I going to go there and just ignore them and keep working and keep, whatever? I decided that I was going to just enjoy them. I was going to enjoy their personalities. I was going to enjoy their stories from the past year. And we've got some hilarious stories. I was going to enjoy the stuff they were talking about, the content, that stuff. I was just going to enjoy. I'm sitting on this beach and I'm just going, I'm not using this beach as a background to get more great social pics or to get more, whatever. I'm going to use this beach to enjoy. I'm going to use this, because next week when I'm wishing I'm back here, why don't I enjoy it while I'm here? And then it was just, where do we want to eat? Where do you just enjoy? Dude, we just cracked on each other. We're telling jokes. I'll show you a video when this is done that cracks me up. And we just decided to enjoy the time, step out of our daily responsibilities, and just be there, man. Not to sound like new agey, but like we just decided to enjoy this, whatever this was, and so we did, and it was absolutely amazing.
Nice.
Little work here and there, but not much, not more than we wanted to. But luckily, like I said, I'm not doing a vacation from a life I don't like. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind when stuff, whatever, but I'm not out there like handling issues and doing, whatever, on the phone all day and that kind of stuff. Like we shut all that off. So, yeah, man.
That's pretty much it.
That's the answer. Appreciate the question. Hey. So guys, with that being said, as I said, I hope you enjoyed this. This is just a reminder, guys, make sure that all the work and everything is ultimately leading towards something that makes you happy. And for some of you, that means you're going to have some conversations. You're going to have to whatever, but like, come on, guys. Like there's so much crap in the world. There's so much things going on. There's so many, the one thing you have control over, right? What you do with your life and otherwise. Let's make sure you're enjoying it. And rest is not a weakness. It's not a bad thing. In fact, if anything, it can energize you to do even more with what you already have. So take advantage of it.